excited to bring to each and every one of you are a group of young ladies that have been through something. They have a story to tell. And I have been in relationship with them all in one way, shape, or form, whether representing them in other audiences or publishing their books or helping them write. It's just been a wonderful, wonderful journey for me. But tonight we're telling our stories, memories of love. This is a God event. He told me to put these people together in a special event and have them share their stories. Yes, they're going to be promoting their books, and they're also going to be telling you briefly about their story, because you're welcome. I definitely want you to purchase their books so that you can get the full story and be blessed by it, but also support the foundations and organizations which they represent, or that their memories represent. So I'm gonna start in reverse order. I'm gonna start with Marquisse Watson, and normally the A's and B's go first, and the Y's and W's and Z's are at the end. But I'm gonna kind of do in reverse order this evening and start with Miss Marquisse Watson, and I want her to introduce herself, tell us about her book, and which is definitely related to her story. And I want to go ahead and make sure she's on. You're unmuted. Go ahead, Marquisse. So glad to have you. Welcome.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Julia. I'm so honored to be on here tonight with all the ladies and sharing our stories. I can't wait to hear everyone's story. And I was kind of prepared for the reversed order by the last event that you did, so I was kind of prepared for that. So I'm happy I wasn't caught off guard. But as Julia mentioned, my name is Marquisse Watson, and I am out of Cincinnati, Ohio. My book comes from a very personal story. Back in 2014, my husband and I were expecting our first baby. We just got married in 2013, and at the end of that year, we found out we were expecting. Our baby was due in September of 2014. Unfortunately, I started having some major complications with my pregnancy and ended up with preeclampsia. So at 24 weeks, I actually gave birth to our little girl, Alana Marie Watson. So the doctors didn't even expect her to be born alive, and it's truly a miracle that she was born alive. But she did pass away about 36 hours after she was born. So my book comes kind of out of me wanting to share my personal story. And my book is called Broken But Beautiful. And it's a 31-day devotional for grieving families. And basically in the book, I go through the beginning from when I found out I was pregnant, pretty much up until current, with just how the emotions and different things we went through, from grieving the loss of our daughter to having our rainbow babies, and then even starting an organization in honor of our daughter. So in 2018, we started the Alana Marie Project, which was actually created to encourage, empower, and support other families who had experienced a similar situation with the loss of a child. So what we do with our organization is we actually mail grief support packages that includes some form of literature, a card, a journal, usually a gift card to a restaurant or Starbucks or something like that. And we actually send that in the mail to families after they've experienced the loss of a baby. So that was kind of our way to give back and just show the love and support that we felt in our time to other families.
Wow. Wow. Okay, so I need for you to spell Alana for me.
Yes.
I can put
so the website that you can get more information about our organization is www.thealana, that's ALANAMARIE project.com.
Gotcha. So I really think that this is a powerful project, in that, you know, if you're like me, who has never been pregnant and does not fully know intimately the loss of a child, it can really be overwhelming for you even to know what to say or know what to do. But you can support this project by providing the products and that they have put together in their package at the AlanaMarieProject.com to be able to be that voice. Yes, we can pray. Yes, we can be there as a comfort, but also these have been packages that have been crafted specifically for those who have lost a child. So that is just unbelievable. So I know you have a very busy life, but I just wanted to ask you one of the things, not as I say, spoiler alert for the entire thing in the book, but if you could just give one key element that really has helped you through this whole entire grieving process.
So it's funny that you mentioned that. I feel like it's hard to pick out one particular thing, but if I think of one particular thing that really helped me, it was really like other people that had gone through similar situations that reached out, and maybe I didn't even know before I had experienced it. They shared their story of loss and offered prayers and support, and we're just there to be like a listening ear. And I feel like before we had experienced it, I didn't really know anyone personally that had experienced the loss of a child. So it felt like we were the only people in the world that had ever gone through this before. So it was, I don't want to say nice, but it felt good to know there was other people that had been through similar situations. You know, they were still alive, they seemed to be doing okay. And it really encouraged me to know, like, okay, if so-and-so can get through this, like, you know, if God can carry her through this, like he'll bring us through this too. So that was really what carried us through.
Exactly. And you're expecting your third. So
so we're expecting our third rainbow baby. We have our oldest, he just turned 5 a couple of weeks ago, our oldest son. And then we have a 3-year-old, and then we're having another little boy. So God blessed us with 3 boys after we lost our daughter, Alana. So we've been truly blessed.
And I can truthfully say they are gorgeous. They are beautiful, handsome, energetic, ooh, over the top. Like, yes, I see the little
that describes them perfectly.
They're wonderful, and congratulations on all that you're doing with your foundation. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Being here. So reach out, support the Elgina Marie Project, and we're gonna go out west for a minute. And next up is Miss Cecilia Smith. Hi. Go ahead.
Hi, Julia. It's always a pleasure. It really is. This is what our third or fourth call being on together. And again, once COVID finishes, look forward to meeting you in person. But thank you for the opportunity and the platform, for sure.
And great. Go ahead and introduce yourself, your book, and if you have a foundation that you're affiliated with and associated with, and go ahead.
Yes, so I am Casilya Smith, artistically known as Sil, S-I-L, and I am an educator here in Houston, Texas, as well as a 3-time published author as well. The book that I want to talk about today is actually called From the Concrete, a reflection and planning journal, and it stems from one of my favorite Tupac Shakur poems. I definitely feel like the rose that grew from the concrete is the story of my life. From childhood up until adulthood, it's been a story of enduring, overcoming, and triumph over and over and over. And so I recently turned 30 March of this year, and I did not want an extravagant party. I didn't want a vacation or anything. I wanted to see how I could reflect on the previous decades of my life and how I could somehow take a lesson from that. And what I did when I did reflect on my 20s and my childhood was I noticed how important it is to truly have a source of release and to heal properly. And so I created From the Concrete. It's much different from my other books because it is a journal and a planning format. And it does have prompts and of course, special words for me as well that will allow people to properly heal, deal, and elevate, because I think those are 3 things that everyone has to go through in life. You have to know how to heal, to release the junk. You have to know how to take the cards that you've been dealt and make the best out of it. And from there, be able to elevate and make something out of your life and your legacy. And so my books stem from two major losses that I have experienced. The first one being my best friend was tragically murdered in 2012. We were actually roommates as well. I was in college at Florida A&M University. And with that loss, I honestly did not know how to deal. I suppressed it. I did the generic answer of, oh, I'm okay, I'm fine, I got this. So no one even knew that inside I was falling apart. Still having to go through college, still having to keep that GPA, still having to manage to deal. And so another loss that has affected me tremendously is recently and unexpectedly, my mom passed away. We learned after her death that she had an aneurysm, and no one knew that she suffered from, but we knew that she knew. But she didn't feel comfortable telling us. So me and my sister, of course. And so what I learned from that was I wish that everyone just had a safe place to be able to say, hey, I need you right now. Like today, I'm not okay. Like I need help. I need support. I need a strong friend. I need someone who can point me in the right direction. And so this is what I hope will come out of my journal from the concrete, and the words that I have in here as well. I've also recently started a new initiative called No Sis, which stands for No Suffering in Silence, since the passing of my mom. And it is based here in Houston, Texas, and it's basically a support circle. It's a no judgment zone. I don't want to hear, oh, I'm okay, I'm fine. Leave that for, the mask that you put on for everyone else. Let's talk about really the loads that we have been carrying so that we can, administer and balance it out for you. Like this is a safe place, a safe zone. So yeah, I'm young, but I've been through a lot, like many of us here, but I try to offer hope. I try to be transparent with my friends, the people that follow me, just so they know that they can continue. Life gets hard, but it also has some beauty in it too, if you change your perspective. So
that's awesome. Okay, Cecilia, I need for you to tell them, are we getting your books from Seal the Writer or nosis.com?
So sealthewriter.com has all of my books that I've written, but it's also available on Amazon. So you can type it in from the concrete. You can type it in through Amazon, or you can go directly to my site to see the entire collection.
Okay, Seal the Writer. That's S-I-L, not S-Y-L. But no, somebody asked specifically where to get your book. But it's Seal the Writer, S-I-L, thewriter.com, from the concrete.
Yes.
Wow, that is powerful. So proud of you.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness. I can't wait to get to Houston. I've got to get to Houston this year. I mean,
yes.
Like, really, dude? Thank you so much, Cecilia. And that is Sil the Writer, S-I-L, thewriter.com. Visit her website, purchase all of her books, and find out how to support. Do you have a Facebook group or online group for the No Sis?
Everything. So Instagram, No Sis is on Instagram.
Okay.
And then if you go to sealthewriter.com, No Sis has its own page. So you can get information and how to support. And then everything that's related to me is on the website. So
okay, sealthewriter.com. Yes. All right, thank you, love. Miss Elgina Bullock-Smith. So we're going from the west, come back to this area in Louisville. Go ahead. You're on. Go ahead and unmute yourself. There you go.
Hello, everyone. My name is Elgina Smith. I am just so grateful. Thank you, Julia, for this opportunity to be on such an amazing panel. Again, my name is Elgina Smith. I am the mother of Anthony Jr. He is the reason why I'm here tonight. A lot of times when you suffer the loss of a child, you get to be in this secret society, and it's called the Mourning Mothers Club. And for the longest time, I did not know that support group existed, and it still has a way to grow and go. So my story was public, and I'm a Facebooker. I call myself the popular loner. I'm a cosmetologist by trade, and so I know a lot of people, and my son's murder happened to be one that was vastly put on the news a lot, and it was just advertised. And when you have a dead child, unfortunately, there's no off limits. Everything is public records, information. And because it was distributed that way, I began to blog a lot to, just the people that did not know me and had a judgment, because people say what they feel. And so the reason why I said I need to be the advocate for my son's voice is because when they hear your child has been murdered, they begin to assume their own story. This child had a bad life. This child did not have two parents in the home. This child was poverty. And that was not my son's case. We are Christian believers. He had a two-parent household from birth, and he lived a great life. So my story is basically, let me reintroduce my son to you. He is not who the public or what the assumptions of the news had to say about him. And for the loss of him, this is what the impact has done to my family. We have lost a staple in our family. Without him, we are learning to go through this new normal with a person that we absolutely needed, loved, and appreciated being the parents to. Anthony was an amazing being. He was a person that if you met him, he was not a stranger. He had a great personality. And when someone dies so traumatic and instantly, you only have what the media tells you about them. And I wanted to just debar that. There are so many parents that have lost a good kid. I'm not saying that there's a reason for any child to die, but because mine died and I had to live through this, I wanted to tell my truth. I wanted to be a voice for every other mourning mother to let you know that it's not your fault. We did everything that we knew to do to raise this child. It doesn't come with a manuscript or a handbook to tell you at age 5, at age 2, at all this. So my story basically is reintroducing my son to the world, letting you know as a mourning family what we lost, and then how with time there will be a morning after morning. Everyone's journey is going to be totally different, but the reason that I made the book and then the workbook is for every single reason that I doubted my process of healing. I wanted to give somebody some hope. I didn't know I could make it to year 5, and because I have, I feel that I'm a qualified candidate to tell you my truth and give you the resources that I have collected along the way. So my book is called Morning After Morning. I was privileged to write and go through this experience with Miss Julia Royston. She has been an amazing, intricate part of me telling my story and getting it out to the masses. You can find Morning After Morning on Amazon right now, and we're finishing Good Grief's Guide to Healing, and it will be ready and available in a few weeks. So you guys, please pick this up if you know a mourning mother. I have an organization that's forming. It's called When Mourners Meet, They Mend. I believe that, like said, there's a lot of people that suffer in silence, and they don't have an outlet that they can go to and a person they can talk to about, because grief is so dark and it has so many layers. And a lot of people in your family and your close circle, they don't want to talk about this with you. So I have made a group called Mourning Mothers, for mourning mothers. And we go there and we blog our truth. We tell our testimonies. We keep our children alive with just conversation. We lend our talents and our resources so that we can help another mourner get through the first of everything. So I'm on Amazon with Morning After Morning. I'm on Facebook. And I also support Leaves of Love. That's an organization that we do all year round, because families need help every season, not just one season or at the holidays. So we have Leaves of Love, and I also have Sacred Friends Networking. I am a giver. I'm a community-oriented person, and I happen to be a mourning mother. My name is Elgina Smith. Remember my book, Morning
After Morning. Morning After Morning. So glad, Miss Elgina. She has a very powerful story, and she's very passionate about what she does. As you can tell, she makes people beautiful as well. And as I know personally, the beauty salon chair is a therapy chair. That's a place where many man or woman have received therapy in her chair, but I can guarantee you that her book, she's poured her heart into it, and the loss of her son is seen all through every line and every page of that book. And that Good Grief's Guide to Healing is going to help family members who didn't even know parts that they needed. They didn't even know about the insurance. I learned so much through her workbook that you're going to get in just a few weeks after that are the things that you need that you didn't even realize you needed for an 18-year-old child or a 12-year-old underage child. And it's tragic that, you know, the parents may bury the children. And, you know, we always think the children are going to bury the parents or grandparents, but that's not always necessarily so. So thank you, Miss Elgina Smith. And I'll put that information in the comments as well as on the replay. So if you are watching us right now, go to bit.ly/Royston special events so that you can get everybody's link. I'm going to send out everyone who registers the links to the books, the links to the organization, so you can feel free, just in case you miss something, you're not going to miss anything. So let's go back to Houston, Texas. Ms. Valerie Johnson-Reed, if you would unmute yourself and introduce yourself to us, tell us about your book, and just briefly about how people can purchase it and about your loss.
Absolutely. Thanks again, Julia, for having such a platform. I think that this is huge, it's major, and I can even see this being like a book tour, a world tour, because grief and loss is real.
Are you prophesying? Are you
prophesying? Hey, you say this is a God thing, and I truly believe that it's a God thing. Once again, my name is Valerie Johnson-Reed. I am a mother. I'm an educator. I'm a widow. And that is what initially got me started with writing. Today, I want to highlight my first book, which is called Stay Strong, Finish Strong, How I Cope with Daily Life After Experiencing Loss. And that's what got me started on my writing journey. I've always been a writer, but after experiencing the loss of my brother, which was June 1st, 2011, my mother, January 19th, 2012, and then finally my husband, October 14th, 2012, I knew that this was something that I know that I had never heard of anyone that experienced it, and I didn't have anyone to turn to, but I knew that God was telling me to tell your story. And so by me telling my story, so many people have come out to tell me, I went through this too. I thought I was the only one. I went through this too. I didn't have anybody to talk to. So it has just been, when I say huge, it's just been huge just to open up and talk about grief and loss. And so I'm just appreciative. I'm just grateful. I'm just thankful that God has given vision for us to talk about grief and loss in such a way, especially during a time such as this.
Yes. Okay, so I need your children's book too.
Okay, yes, my children's book. I am out of my children's book, but I have this poster, and this is Through Micah's Eyes. And this story was written because, like I said, my husband, he died in October 2012, but my youngest son, Micah, was 2 years old when my husband died. So for him, he had no really understanding of what was going on. So actually, I drafted Through Micah's Eyes first because I felt the impact of what he was going through. And I knew from what I saw, there weren't really too many books out there that the books look like our kids. And I wanted the book to look like my child or other brown children and Black children. So I wanted something special for them, and I wanted to show the actual grief and loss. You actually see the scenes from the funeral. You see him asking questions, what happened? And so it talks about, how can we address these issues? Because as we see again, even today, we see so much going on in our world. Children need to know, and they want to know what's going on. And in their own special way, there's a way that we can talk to them and tell them about what's happening.
Exactly. Okay, so how can people get your book?
My book is available. All books are available on Amazon as well as my website. My website is www.strongtothefinish with an S at the end.com.
Strong to the finish. Now, I love the inside of Through Micah's Eyes because it really, I mean, it's very colorful, but it's also from a 3 and 4 and 5 year old's perspective. Seeing that big casket sitting there and that all, so that the kids are actually, it's poignant, but it does make a point because I'm, as an adult, you're basically looking down, but it shows you literally from through Micah's eyes, through the child's eyes at that age, and it's really difficult for children and to communicate that. But am I out of that book? I might be out of it too because I
don't have any more. I'm sold out.
I'm like, we got to reorder. But
yes, I have another order coming.
Okay, so if you want a signed copy, be sure and go to her website. But also, you can get a copy and communicate because I know Valerie has a motivational goal. She's been going live in the mornings, right? What time?
I have been.
Yeah.
I have been going live, but usually between 7:30 and 8:30 Houston time.
Okay, so that's like 8:30 to 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. So 7:30 to 8:30 Central Standard Time. So look for Valerie Johnson Reed out there. She's praying for you and taking it through the internet airwaves. So if you need someone who's really touched by that, be sure and reach out to her and follow her for her new books coming up. All right. Thank you so much, Valerie.
Thank you.
My Houston girls, I love y'all, right? Thank you. All righty. Well, let's come on back to Louisville. We got 3 more ladies to go, and hopefully if you have questions, feel free to put them in the comments section. Miss Cassandra Lanier is I'm super excited to have her on this evening. And Cassandra, go ahead and introduce yourself, your story, and your book.
Okay, first of all, let me say thank you, Ms. Royston, for having me on. I'm a little nervous. She knows I'm chicken, but anyway, thanks for having me on this platform. I'm really grateful for that. And my name is Cassandra Lanier. She said, this is my first book, and it's entitled My Life Under the Sunshine. And it's basically, well, the reason for me writing the book is I lost my daughter, Yolanda, on May 21st, 2018. And as a process of my grieving and therapy, I began to write. And my cousin, someone instructed that I should write a book, and they introduced me to Miss Royston, and it went from there, and she helped me and encouraged me to tell my story. And basically, I lost my daughter to a car accident, and her boyfriend both passed. And basically, my book introduces you to her and introduces her to me, because I've learned so much more about my daughter since her passing, that it just shows you as a parent that you focus so much on what you want for your kids that you don't really see how they're moving in their own walk. And I'm just blessed to see that she was walking in the way that God would be pleased with, and she was touching and impacting lives. And she basically been a lifesaver to me since birth. And she's my lifesaver. So I say I entitled the book, My Life Under the Sunshine, because God has covered me all of my life. And he blessed me with 2 beautiful daughters that saved my life and turned my life around in so many ways. And Yolanda is basically still turning my life around. I am now a member of the Kentucky Organ Donors Association Family Coalition, which we reach out to other donor families, and we consult and comfort each other and do whatever we can. We get together and do things. And yeah, basically my journey, and how God, just me keeping my hands in God's hand and doing everything that he's instructed me to do, standing on his promise, and how his promise brought me through. And I'm just a witness to anybody that if you keep your eyes towards the hills from which cometh your help, that your help will come. And he'll show you things, and he'll help you in ways that you would never imagine. So I hope that my book will be an inspiration to someone, just and how he spoke with me and how he walked with me. And I'm hoping that my walk will help somebody else in their journey as they go through their process of grief. So.
Awesome, awesome. You can get your copy of her book, My Life Under the Sunshine, from her. She's on Facebook, Cass Lanier, Cass Lanier, Lanier. So you can inbox her directly to get a copy of her book. It also is available on Amazon, but Cass, Cass Lanier, get a copy of that book. Now, her and Elgina have a lot of the same story because we're writing a section in her workbook about, and it always reminds me when I'm working on Elgina's book about Cassandra's book, because they've had so many similar visions and signs from their child that represents that their child's spirit comes back. And we were on the phone one time with Elgina, and she's got a red bird on her cover, and a red bird came while we're talking about the book, and we're talking about AJ, and there he comes. And then Cassandra has the same thing, butterflies she has on her cover. She gets butterflies every now and then, and they come by, and she's like, there she is. She's right there with me, letting me know I'm fine. I need to keep going. So Elgina and Cassandra both, they always remind me of those types of things. And of course, I still have dreams about my father as well. And I usually get a dream when it's either a rough time and he's basically telling me, keep going, you can do this, you got this, you did a good job, it's going to be okay. So I'm always thankful for the signs God brings back to us, that our loved one is it's fine, they're okay, I got them, they're all right, they're with me. So I just had to point that out, because when I'm thinking about Cassandra's book, I'm always thinking about Elgina. They have so much of the similar, different symbols, different emblems, but they mean great things to each one of those. All right, so let's go to the East Coast. Let's go ahead to Virginia. Miss Karen Brown, Miss KD Brown. Tell us about your story, your book, all that good stuff.
Hello, I am Karen Dixon Brown. My writer's name is KD Brown, and if you read my book, you'll see why I do not like the name Karen that I was given as a child. I am the author of One Breath at a Time, A Little Girl Remembers to Breathe Through It All, followed by Read, Breathe, Journal. And I'm in the process right now of writing the book that makes this trilogy a whole. And when I say I'm in the process, it is a tough process. I started One Breath at a Time years ago. I was blessed to meet Julia 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I was blessed to meet her by happenstance. We both was presenting somewhere together, and my girlfriend was hitting my leg saying she's a publisher. So that was confirmation. It was time to get it published. But ironically, the drafts that I wrote wasn't what was published, because God said it was time for that. I need to do this. So this book actually starts off highlighting my mother's murder. My mother was murdered when I was 6 years old. And as a result of my mother being murdered, any and everything that could have happened to me happened. So I come with many layers. And over the years, this little girl remembered to breathe through it all while learning God was with her through molestation, through my brother's suicide, through any t-shirt that we buy, because we buy a lot of t-shirts now, I wear them all. So I put it in this book because we weren't talking about it, especially to our people. We weren't conversating about it. We was hiding so much to the point where this child stood back and said, if I didn't look like these people, I would think somebody stole me, because something does not seem right. And then me and Julia were working in the process of this book. When it was getting ready to get released and it was supposed to be a happy time, I overcame so much. I lost a son in August of 2018 through a tragic car accident. So trying to be happy, everything right now is bittersweet, but I know I have to keep pushing. I know I have to keep doing, because he was that earth, fire, water child that said, Mom, you got this. Mom, I'm so proud of you. Mom, you have to do this. So in that, listening to all your stories, I was like, ooh, we are sisters for real. But after I lost him, I was like the other person that spoke. I didn't want a 50th birthday party. I needed to keep pushing to survive. It wasn't about balloons and stuff like that. So it's like, I need to get the next book done. I need to do this. I need to do that. So we had a beautiful book signing. And then in my mind, it's like, I got to keep writing. I got to keep doing, because that was survival. Survival was healing from this. Survival was keep going. Survival was letting somebody else know, you may not be okay today, because I'm not okay. I'm okay every 33 minutes and then I have a breakdown. But we are surviving. God is showing us something. I have the beautiful butterflies. One follow me for a whole day, and the red bird that comes when I'm ready to just lose it. So now I'm in the process of writing Breathing. And I thought that book was going to bring some closure, but then when a death comes, it's hard. So I started the Es3 Foundation. My son, I have 3 boys who I adore. And so Eddie, who I lost, was my middle son. He was Eddie Servance III. I say he still is Eddie Servance III. So we started the Es3 Foundation, Es3 No Limits, because Eddie had no limits. He overcame being overweight. He overcame a bad divorce with me and his dad. He overcame a lot of the stuff teens or juveniles or young adults overcome because of people being not nice people. So because he overcame that, we started the Es3 Foundation. And one of his nicknames was Eddo, E-D-D-O. So we highlight that, where we take the E for empowering people, the D for helping them to decide to make better choices, the other D for them to help develop themselves, and then overcome any obstacles they may be going through. So in that foundation, he loved to bake, cook, travel, hike, run, climb the highest mountains in the country, do yoga and all that stuff. So yearly, I bake his grandmother's homemade sweet potato pie. Last year, I sold 200 pies for the Es3 Foundation. He loved tie-dye. We do an annual walk on the day the Lord took him back home. So we honored that day. I cry, but we don't mourn that day. We honor that day, do something he loved to do. So the whole community gets together. The month of his birthday, we do an annual sock drive. He loves silly, goofy socks. He was that one. So I collect socks, and then I donate to a nonprofit that helps children. So it's different things I'm doing to survive. Because people were asking me, well, I have so many people say, you are the strongest person I know. And I say, thank you for that, but I'm not. God is still working with me. I'm a minister. I'm the associate minister at my church where my husband pastors. And it's ironic when people say, oh, can you preach this Sunday? Can you preach Mother's Day? Can you do this? I said, I can't. And we have to be honest with ourselves, which is what I try to teach people. Don't just do stuff because somebody thinks you're strong enough. Be honest with yourself and say, no, I'm not ready. Mm-hmm. No, you got to take care of you. So that's why I try to write and keep talking. I love Julia. Oh my goodness. I probably bother her so much. And I'm going to start bothering her a lot more now. The next book is getting ready to come. But I adore her because she doesn't realize how much strength she gives, even when it's long distance. So I appreciate this platform. I appreciate everybody's story. I'm sitting here like, I don't know why I didn't sit here with tissues, because we are all one. And I'm so proud of us for keep going. Yeah. That survival is not easy, and we got to stop putting icing on it and saying that, oh, we good. No, we're not. But we're pushing day in and day out. And I always say, come on, grace and mercy, let's go. Yeah. Because I can't do without you. Mm-hmm. That is me.
Oh, wow. So Elgina, now you know how we got.
Wow.
See now, so you know, Cassandra, how we got through it. Oh, no. Yeah, she fussed and kicking and screaming like she was the only one. And Elgina was the same way. What? I'm like, I must be designed and built for people who are writing in the midst of grief. And as a writer and as a publisher, that's really hard. If you can't feel people's pain, don't do it. If you can't understand what they're actually going through and all the ups and downs and ins and outs, if you don't have compassion for that, don't do this. Don't do this. Just find something else to do for an occupation, a career, or business, because you got to have a heart for it. Because this is pain here, raw in its rawest form. This is pure pain, pure all the steps and parts of grief you can imagine. They have all experienced and still experience. Some days are another, and some ways are another. So one thing that I'm always super excited for all of you is when I see you moving. And I know it's hard for you to move. I know it's hard for you to launch. I know some days you want to stay in the bed and put the covers over your head. But, but I know you keep pushing like, oh my God, Marquise moved. She is about ready to have a baby in a month, and she has moved with 2 little boys and a husband, and oh my God, and a dog. Do you have 1 dog or 2 dogs? She got dogs, 1 dog. I mean, she got and a nurse and But you all are strong. You are. I mean, it's powerful. And old mothers in my church used to say sometimes he's just carrying you. So I think sometimes literally we're not really walking. He's carrying us all the way through. All righty. Thank you, Miss Karen. I love you. Culpeper. Oh my gosh. It's so awesome over there in Culpeper, Virginia. I now know Culpeper from being there twice and in the train station and all that good stuff. So I love you, and tell Pastor Gary we send our regards. All righty. So I am super excited that she is on. Last but definitely not least, the true journalist in the as they say, our godmother journalist in the group. This is the one with the most experience writing, and world-renowned Miss Baye is on with us tonight. Go ahead and share out to your people everywhere, and she's all in her Delta Red tonight, and we're so excited to have her and her book and her story. And go ahead and unmute yourself. And there we go.
It looks red. I actually have on orange tonight.
Is it orange? It looks red. I'm sorry.
But that's what I'm saying. It just looks red because it's supposed to be.
Go ahead and introduce your book and your story, and tell us why you wrote it and all that good stuff.
Well, the journalist in me is like, I could write a column. I could, do a story around all of these stories, because I was thinking Black Lives Matter. And Black Lives Matter even when they're no longer physically on this side. And the fact that that we tell our stories, that what I understand, my faith tells me that love lives beyond the grave. And so in a sense, what we've all done here is to write a love story. And my book, the Book of David, is called My East Harlem Love Story. I'm from New York. The cover of the book reflects the neighborhood where we grew up. And David grew up in one project, and I grew up in the one across the street from that project. And I had not, David and I, when we were kids, I had like a little crush on him. He was just this cute little guy. He was never little. Let me just say that he was never little, but he's a Afro-Puerto Rican, and I didn't know he was Puerto Rican because, he's Black. So, but, we were kids, and it never went anywhere other than, a little flirting and stuff like that. And then almost 50 years later, about 50 years later, I came to a neighborhood reunion. We have the project reunion every year in the back of the projects. And I didn't want to come to this reunion. I was planning to stay in Washington, D.C. I was visiting with some friends. My friends insisted that I go. And so they literally threw me on the Amtrak and said, you're going to New York. So I go to New York to the reunion, and I have a little attitude because I didn't plan to go. And so I get to the reunion, and I'm there, and I'm talking to, like my parents' friends and stuff, of whom there are fewer and fewer. And suddenly about, an hour into the reunion, I look up and I see this guy coming through the park. And I'm looking, and I'm like, David Rivera. 50 years, almost a half a century, I hadn't seen him. And he said, Betty Winston. And it was on from then. And it was like this magical, in our 60s love affair. Because, some people think that you are dead after 60. I'm still alive. I still have eyes, I still see cute boys and men, I go, oh, okay. So anyway, David and I got together, and it was just magical. And I thought, I'm a grown woman. I'm not waiting for anybody's permission. I'm going to, you know, get on this ride. And so David came, and we were together. And then about, I had been a columnist and editorial writer for 27 years. I was with the Courier Journal. I was a reporter. Then I was a columnist, editorial writer for 27 years with the newspaper. And about 7-8 months after David got here, I got laid off. And it was very public. It was in the news because people know me, you know, here in Louisville. And it was embarrassing for me and all of that. But David really saved me. And he was here with me, and he told me, you know, I got you. And for a woman to have a man say, I got you, particularly a woman who takes care of her business, everybody sees you handling it and everything. But sometimes you just don't want to handle it. Sometimes you just want to collapse and let somebody carry it for you just for a little while. And so David did that for me. And after, you know, the job, we figured out our finances, and honey, we hit the road. I mean, we went cruising. We went to Puerto Rico. We cruised. We visited family in New York, in Atlanta, in Savannah. I mean, we were just all over the place because he wasn't working. We saw 2 Social Security recipients, so we just hopping along. And we were down at Tybee Island, in fact, near Savannah on vacation. David loved the ocean, and he was swimming and everything. And then finally he came out and he said, I have this, what's this knot on my neck? You know, it's really, you know, bothering me. And I said, well, look, when we get back to Louisville, you know what I'm saying, we'll go to the doctor. Anyway, we found out that David had stage 4 lung cancer, and it had already metastasized, and that's why it was sitting up in his neck, because, you know, the cancer had broken loose and it spread. So David ended up in hospice care. He was in the hospital here. I couldn't manage it by myself. He has a son in Atlanta. So we relocated to Atlanta, where we could all, you know, universally try to take care of him. And again, because I wasn't working, I was free to go. So I locked up the condo and went to Atlanta with David. And he died on January 17, 2015. And I was with him almost every day, you know, and I would play his music, and, you know, we just grew. And then at times he couldn't talk, he didn't talk. And so this is after David died. I had not planned to do a memoir, a book about it, but I was always keeping a journal because I'm always writing. And you all probably do the same thing as writers. You know, if you have a dream, you got to jump up and write it down, because sometimes you won't remember. And so I'm sitting here, and this voice came to me as clear as day. And the voice said, I want you to tell somebody about me. And I thought it was like David saying, tell somebody about me. And I'm thinking, this little Negro here, look, you know, you little ego, you know. And then I got quiet, and I realized that it wasn't David. It really was, it was like the voice of God telling me to tell somebody about him, about how he kept us on that journey, about how he kept me, you know what I'm saying, when I was falling apart, and why for all the time I'd been there, I wasn't meant to be there at the moment that David died. That was not what was supposed to happen. And the voice was so clear, and I started writing. And I wrote this draft, honey, and I thought I was like killing it. And a friend of mine who's an old friend, editor from Essence magazine, she looked at the first chapter or 2, and she said, now you have to start telling the story. And I, you know, my little heart sunk. I thought, oh my God, you know, I've written this wonderful thing, but I realized it really was a draft, because I was so deep in my emotions till it just wasn't working. And so I'm writing a little bit here and there, and then I get introduced to this Julia Royston person. And so I'm sitting on this manuscript, right? And I'm like, okay, I want to do something with it. But I'm still like, I don't know, you know. And Julia said, let's go. Let's go. This woman, she rode me like a horsey. And she took me to the finish line. And I am so grateful, because I was going to shop the book to a big publisher, bigger publisher. And I realized that my story might not get told for about 2 or 3 years or something. And I didn't want an editor telling me what my story was, and particularly one who was not from our culture, our experience, you know what I'm saying? And Julia was there, and I thought it was a match made in heaven. So from the moment we met, she really pushed me to finish the book, to stop talking about it and to do it. And she told me that if I really wanted to honor David, I had to let it go. Because as long as I kept it to myself, it was just me. But if I finished the book, other people could benefit from it. So mine is a love story. And I think about David all the time. And I feel like, and I tell our story of growing up in New York. So it's also a story about growing up in New York. It's about, his death, our journey, what I learned about love, that love can come at any age. And, there's so many things that I learned on the journey about love. And I think that sometimes people get confused and they think that after you get a certain age that all that stuff sort of dries up. But what it is you're the same person. You're just older. You can't maybe do the things, but the things that you like, that's who you are. And so I feel like God gave me this book, and I called it the Book of David because I know that David was favored by God and that David was imperfect, but God loved David so much. Mm-hmm. And I love David. And at the end of the day, what I understood was I could not love David back from his destiny. That we can love the people we love, but God has a hand on them, that our love cannot save them, but our love can tell their stories, and our love can help somebody else on the journey. So through us, the people that we've loved and we've lost, they live. And they live. And when Julia was talking about foundations, David was at a place called Our Lady of Perpetual Help Home. It was a hospice in Atlanta, a Catholic hospice. So I tell at the end of my book, anybody that buys my book, and you're so moved about how they treated him so beautifully till his last day, that people could make a contribution to Our Lady of Perpetual Help Home. And my book is available on Amazon, but you can also, people can email me and order books, bbaye2482@gmail.com. And I can, sign it and send you a copy of the book, but you can get it on Amazon. And because of the COVID, I haven't been able to do a lot of, book parties and stuff. So I'm really hoping that for all of us, we need to figure out how to do online book parties and stuff to get our stories out there to, to other people. So, so I am just happy for this opportunity to meet you all. And again, like I'm listening to you and I'm like, I don't know if I really understood what Julia was telling me that we were going to do tonight. You all have touched my heart in so many ways, losing your children. David's stepson died from COVID back in March. You know what I'm saying? And it's just interesting. David's son died. My cousin Tommy died a couple of weeks ago. Saturday, my great nephew was involved in an auto accident. He was the driver. It wasn't his fault. Something happened to his car, we think, but somebody was killed in the other car. And it went across the road down in South Georgia. So my nephew is really struggling emotionally. It just happened. And then I got the news this morning that my cousin's father died out in California, and he had some ailments, but also COVID. So this coronavirus is real. Mm-hmm. And, we have so many issues as African Americans, but you all have touched my soul today. And I'm going to try to figure out how to also, to whatever I'm doing, figure out how to get your stories out to other people too. I know for the sisters that are here in Louisville, since I got this new job at WLKY, interviewing people, I want to try to figure out, now I don't know who hires a 74-year-old journalist after I've been out of the business for 9 years, but see, God is faithful, and you never know, as my pastor said on Sunday, God is secret, it's a secret. We only know what we know, but we don't know what God has for us in the next hour, the next thing. So I'm really sort of amused about, here I am back in journalism again after being out of it. And the offer came almost 9 years to the day. that I got laid off from the paper. And I said, you know what, God, you really are
You see him.
amazing. And so I say, just keep, telling your stories, telling our stories, because they're our stories, and they're our children, and they're our husbands. You know what I'm saying? They're our families. And that pastor who told me years ago, he said, so long as we call their names, they live. And we do not die until there's nobody left who remembers our names. So keep talking about them as if they're, still here telling their stories, because through our pain, somebody else can be saved. Somebody else can find a space. And I'm so proud of, those of you who have the foundations and the other thing you've done to bring women together. And mostly Julia, I just love Julia Royston's, her spirit, but also the fact that once you sign up with this sister, she is going to say now, when you try to make excuses, how you a little tired, you don't want to do it, Julia will ride you like a pony until the end. And I'm very proud of her. And I am very proud that that I have gone with a Black-owned publishing company to do my book. And Julia could be Simon and Schuster, but the only way she's going to get there is if enough of us say, okay, we want this sister to publish our books. And then as she grows, we grow, because we all go up together. So thank you so much for this opportunity, Julia. And thank you for introducing me to these lovely ladies.
They're wonderful. Oh gosh, I can't wait. It's just awesome. So now y'all know why I spent so many hours at Miss Betty's house, right? So because you need that wisdom, you need that encouragement, you need all of that. So we're gonna be in the virtual space, Miss Betty. So when you're ready to go live, we can jump on there with you and interview through Zoom. But yes, as they say, it's time to say amen and the benediction, because Miss Betty's putting the icing on the cake. But I'm just so super excited for all of you, and telling your stories, keeping your family members alive, and helping somebody else, because there's somebody else who doesn't know how they're going to get through the next day. There's somebody else who's on this Facebook Live who's going to see the replays on YouTube, and going to see the replays on my website. They're not going to know how they're going to get out of the bed and face it. They're going to watch this video and know, if they did it, I can do it too. And so I want to, I know this is a God assignment and a God gathering, but I want to make sure that you understand that God is with you and God is there to help you to move forward to the next level. And these ladies here are a testimony and a testament to being able to survive it. They have good days, they have bad days. We all do. We have days we cry, days we in the bed with the covers over our heads, days we're laughing, days we're remembering something, and some days you might be mad at them. But overall, the grieving process is a part of that, and you love through it all. We love through it all. So go ahead and register Royston special events, bit.ly/Royston special events, so you can get the links to the replay and know how to support these ladies. I'll continue the rest of this year to be bringing you wonderful people, places, and things, information, and especially books. Everybody's got a book who's gonna be around me too long. They're gonna have a book. But and books that you can enhance your life and as well share with somebody else, so that we can all help each other. We are in this together. I know that's been cliche throughout COVID. We're in this together. No, you're not. Well, we are, because we all have our own situation that we're in, our own mental capacity, our own, some days, oh my gosh, when is this going to end? I don't like this mask. I don't want to wear this mask. I don't want to, how many times? And are they catching? And 6 feet, get away from me. But we are in this together, and God's going to carry us all the way through. I'm Julia Royston, bringing you a special edition of Telling Our Stories, Memories of Love. So excited that you have been with us. If you miss anything, you can always reach out to me. I'll be happy to connect you with any of these ladies, so that you don't miss out on supporting them and purchasing their books or supporting their foundations. So you all have a wonderful night. and have a good, blessed rest of the week. Let's get through the rest of 2020 together. Be blessed. Love you all. Bye-bye.